What's going on, everybody? My name is Bearridge. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing another formation review, and we're going to be looking at WAHOOS22'S 3-5-2 formation. He is an Elite 1 player using the 3-5-2, and he has written a Reddit post explaining everything you could possibly need to know about his custom tactics and player instructions, as well as how to use and play with this team. It is the perfect guide. It's everything you need to know. If you want to read it, it will be the top link in the description down below. But I'm going to be going through it myself and adding in my own experiences. So if you want to listen to it rather than read it, then this is probably going to be a bit better than that. But make sure you go over there anyway. Give him an upvote, give him a like, give him some love. Let him know in the comments how you thought it went for him. He used it in 3 weekend leagues before he released the guide because he didn't want to jump ahead and he wanted to make sure that it worked for him. In the first week he used it, he finished Elite 2. The second week he finished Elite 2. And the third week he finished Elite 2 with 26 wins. But his power went out when he was leading a 3-1 win. So I feel for him there. So he missed out actually on Elite 1. But he has used it and he has got a comfortable Elite 2 finish 3 times. I used it myself mainly 2 weekend leagues ago, and I went 17-3, and I just ran out of time to play the last 3 games, but I only lost the 3 games. It was fantastic for me, and then I played it for a little bit in Division 1, and I think I was actually undefeated. I can't remember entirely, but it's been fantastic for me. It's a really good formation, and this is why I'm recommending it. This is why I'm doing a review. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't think it was any good. So WAHOOS guide starts off with some miscellaneous things that you need to know and some frequently asked questions. He then talks about why he likes the 3-5-2 over the 4-2-3-1 and the 4-4-2, which are obviously the meta formations this year. He has a look at the custom tactics that you need and the player instructions. He has 3 different setups. He has a balanced one, a I need to defend for my life one, and a I have to score a goal and I have to score it now one. So not only is this one setup, you actually get 3 in this. It's fantastic. He then looks at the player archetypes for each position, the chemistry styles. He has his substitution philosophy. That's how in-depth this guide is. He even talks about his play style. He has tips for making the change to 3-5-2, and then he has a look at his team before going into some closing remarks. So we're going to go through the key points and have a look at what sort of things that you need to go over. So first of all, starting with why he likes the 3-5-2 over the 4-2-3-1. The 4-2-3-1, the formation has 4 attackers, 2 CDMs, and 4 defenders. Basically, most people put their CDMs on stay back whilst attacking. So you only have 4 attackers and 6 people sitting back. In a 3-5-2, you have your 3 centre-backs, your 2 CDMs, and your left mid and right mid that come back. So you have 7 outfield players versus therefore you outnumber them in that formation, and it doesn't leave them with a lot of space. People think that because you've got 3 at the back, it's an open formation. That is not the case. And it's kind of similar with the 4-4-2. They have 2 attackers, 2 wingers, 2 centre mids, and most people, again, they put their fullbacks on stay back whilst attacking. Normally with a 4-4-2, the advantage in real life is that you use the fullbacks to double up on the wing, but people don't do that in game. And again, it gives you a numbers advantage, especially in midfield and defensively as well, surprisingly. And yeah, contrary to popular belief. Also, the fact that you have 5 players in midfield, obviously people will probably in a 4-2-3-1 be defending with their cam, but because you naturally have 5 players in midfield, you have the width advantage as well as the numbers advantage. So again, it's a numbers game, and with the 3-5-2, you are winning that game very comfortably. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at the custom tactics and the player instructions. What you'll be seeing on your screen now is the team that I used for the first weekend league that got me the 17-3, and then it's going to transition into the team that I used the most recent weekend league. I only used it for about 4 or 5 games, and then I shifted into a 3-1-4-2 because somebody else that I know sent me a formation. I'm going to be trying that one out fully this weekend. It actually replicates Cruyff's 3-4-3 diamond formation that he used at Barcelona. So if you're interested in that, come back next week and there'll be a review for that. But this week, obviously, we're looking at the 3-5-2. So we're going to get into the custom tactics. We're going to start off by looking at the standard play tactics, the ones that you use the majority of your games. So the defensive style is balanced. Don't want to do anything silly there. Keep it nice and simple, nice and passive as it is. The width is 4 and the depth is also 4. We just reduced that by 1 so that it's just a little bit further drop back than normal. Don't want to be too high up the pitch. Don't want to leave too much room in behind because of the counter attack. And it's quite a wide formation anyway. So we want to try and reduce that a little bit, make it a little bit more narrow, a little bit more compact in the middle. The offensive style is long ball. We're using that to try and make our players run in behind, whether that be down the wing or from the strikers. So that's the main aim of that. And then for the width, he says you can use 8 or 9. I went for 8. You can go for 9 if you want. If you want it just be a little bit wider, that's all down to personal preference. Just play around with it. I went with 8 because I thought I was trying to be a little bit more conservative. And then for players in the box, he actually suggests either 5, 6, or 7. I decided to slap bang in the middle, and 6 worked quite nicely for me. Again, player preference, all down to you. Also depends on the players that you use in the squad as well. Corners and free kicks, he says 1 out of 5. I actually use 2 out of 5. That's, again, this is personal preference. I like to actually have some players in the box and some players for free kicks that I can pass to. Obviously, the lower you have it, then the less players you have forward and the less likely you are to be counter-attacked. So you just have to have a play around with that yourself and see how you like it. For the player instructions, we're going to start off with the goalkeeper. He put come for crosses and sweeper keeper on them. And I did find that actually, I think I preferred using them to not using them at all. Come for crosses was quite nice, especially from corners and from defending against R1 square crosses, which we know are quite powerful. I found that my keeper was able to come and win the ball more often than he was when the option wasn't there. I'm not saying that it means that he'll win it every single time, but it was enough that it was noticeable. And then sweeper keeper, didn't notice too much of a difference. There were a few occasions where the ball came in behind, and I think normally what would have happened is they'd have just run through and had a one-on-one. Instead, Lloris came charging out, won the ball, and got it away nice and easy. So I think you should use them. I think you should try them. If you don't like them, then again, just take them off. The goalkeeper isn't an important position in this formation, but it definitely helps, especially as you only have a back 3. Speaking of the back 3, don't touch them at all. Leave them as they are. Stay back whilst attacking, normal interception. He does say in the guide, if you really want, you can put them on aggressive, but their stamina will drain a lot faster. Whatever you do, do not put them on conservative. The opponent that you're playing against will have a field day and they will dart around the players. They will be useless. They won't do anything. I left it on normal. It worked for me. Leave it on normal. The CDMs are certainly interesting. Got 2 different styles for them. For one of them, in this case, my left DM, you can do it the other way around if you want to, but I just followed it how the guide did it. For my left DM, I had him on cut passing lanes and cover center, but he's on balanced attack. Does mean he gets forward, and that's kind of nice. Covers the center, which means he will always come back down the middle of the pitch. And when he does get back, he is looking to cut out the ball. Working in contrast with that, Andre is also on cut passing lanes, doing the same job defensively as Sanson, trying to stop the ball getting through. He's on stay back, so he is the defensive cover. However, he is on cover wing, and the main aim of that is when Sanson is forward, when the ball comes back, Andre will be able to move out to either wing in order to give extra support to the centre back in that position and give support to the left mid and the right mid out there. So it just gives an extra layer of support. There is an interesting thing with the 3-5-2 in that when the DMs cross over, their roles actually switch. So if Andre ends up on the left, he gets the roles and instructions that Sanson had. So that's very interesting and a neat little touch from EA. Out wide in this formation, the only things that are done to the wide players is come back on defense. Like I said, they're effectively acting as wing backs. As you can see in this formation, I have used wing backs or right backs and left backs in those positions. And that's exactly what we want them to do. We want them to just be a little bit more attacking than they would be in a 5-3-2 or a 5-2-1-2. So they just have a little bit of extra width, a little bit of extra attack. And yeah, but you want them to come back and help out defensively. So that's why we've got that instruction on them. Now we move on to the cam. The cam is the most important player in the team. Believe it or not, the cam is the player that scores the majority of the goals. They do a lot of the creating work and a lot of the scoring work. They are the heartbeat of the team. I used Benzema in form in the first week. He was fantastic. Depay was also equally brilliant. I think the interesting thing about Benzema is he shows that you don't need a lot of pace to run this position. I will get into the personnel a little bit more in a minute. The defensive support, he's on stay forward. We want him to be up the pitch, always available for an option to pass to. And then for interceptions, we have him on conservative just to maintain that stamina. He's the heartbeat. We need them to be there for as long as possible. And we're not going to be running them back to defend with because we're going to have enough players back to defend with anyway. So we just leave them, let them do their thing. And yeah, that's it. That's all you need for the cam. The left striker is on drift wide, conservative interceptions, and stay forward. Again, we want them forward so that they're always there for an attacking option. They're on drift wide so that they actually give a little bit more width. They almost look to go in between the fullback and the centre back. Sometimes they'll just bypass and go all the way around the fullback as well. We've got them conservative interceptions because we don't want them to be pressing all the time. We don't mind if our opponent passes the ball around their back line. They can waste that time. That's all up to them. As long as we're solid defensively, then that's all that matters. So we've got that instruction on the left striker. And then on the right striker, almost the same, except this time we've added the get in behind instruction. Effectively, the left striker acts as a little bit more of a creator, and then the right striker is a more attacking player to get in behind and add that extra element. By not putting it on both, it means that with the left striker, we have alternative options other than just always through balling it. But if we have a through ball opportunity, you can guarantee your right striker will give you that chance. Going to move to the defensive option now, the park the bus option, if you will. He has gone for drop back on the defensive style. Now, he does say in the guide, he's not a drop back merchant, effectively. He doesn't want to just use that constantly in order to, pick up wins and play boring football. He's not like that. But it is, as he says, a legitimate strategy that should be employed towards the end of a match if you are winning. The problem is people use this for the entirety of their games. They play too defensive, and that's what makes boring FIFA. But if you're holding on to a win, fair enough. I think you should use it. I used it. It was pretty good for me. I don't think I conceded too many goals when I switched to this instruction, so it worked very well. As you can see, the width and the depth is also dropped back slightly. It's down to 3. We sit a little bit further back, and we're a little bit more compact in the middle again, just to shore up defensively. The offensive style here is possession. This is smart because your goal here when you're leading is to hold on to the ball and it's not to score. If you can, you want to get into your opponent's box and you want to basically pass it around the edge of their box. You want to waste time and pin them back if you can. That's the main aim. The good thing about the possession means that players will come short. They'll give you the passing option, and it will mean that you shouldn't, if your opponent is pressing you, which they probably will be, if your opponent is pressing you, then you have an option, you have an out, and it should make defending slightly easier. For the width, I've gone to 4 just to give you a little bit extra, especially when you're trying to pin your opponent. And then players into the box, just the 1. Just 1, as low as possible, because you don't actually want to be in your opponent's box. You want to be in and around your opponent's box. You're not trying to score a goal. You're trying to hold on. And on this one, I would recommend dropping it to 1 because you want to be solid defensively if you lose the ball. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but it's FIFA. It probably will. You'll probably eventually misplace a pass or your opponent will manage to tackle you. So you just want to be covered just in case. For the hold delete strategy, goalkeeper, exactly the same. The centre-backs are also exactly the same as the last instruction, so we stick with that. For the CDM, starting with the left CDM, cut passing lanes, stay back whilst attacking, cover centre. This time, we don't want players going forward, so we're going to keep an extra man back. The other CDM is exactly the same as well. So we are making sure that we are defensively fine, that we are compact, and that we are not pushing too many bodies forward. The wide player is on comeback on defense again because we still need them to be acting as our fullbacks. We've got their sporting runs on come short. That comes in with the possession tactic. It means that if you end up with your CDM or your cam in a wide position, they will come to you, they'll give you a passing option, and they'll make life a little bit easier. And we want to stay on the edge of the box. Again, we're trying to pin our opponent into their box and not give them an opportunity. The further away you are from your goal, the better. And having an extra player that isn't running into the box, and we're ensuring that they don't run into the box, really helps us achieve that goal. And you can see Cam, exactly the same instructions as the last one. We need them there as that passing option, that out. When we get the ball, we need to get it to them and then try and break and get up the pitch as fast as possible. Or, alternatively, at least you just got a player to pass to before you pass it back. It works. It's nice having them there. They need to stay there. And then for the strikers, on this one, we have them come back on defense this time, just so that they're a little bit closer to the cam. The way the game's coded means that you won't be able to add them into midfield. So it just means that they're just not quite as far up the pitch. Got them conservative interception so that they're, they don't need to make heavy tackles. We just need them to maintain stamina and maintain shape. And then we've got them on false 9. And the thing that false 9 does is it means that they will drop into positions and look for space so that you can pass to them. So again, it helps with creating passing opportunities when you're trying to maintain the ball and hold on to the lead. Now we're moving into the last tactic. This is the come from behind, the all-out attack tactic. This is, I need a goal and I need it now. The defensive style is on balance. It remains on balance. He hasn't touched it. I guess that's down to preference. If you want to have a bit of a press on, you can go into the D-pad menu and you can activate team press. It works on like a timer, so you'll get it for a little bit and then it will just revert back to balanced. So I guess that's the best way to do it, or you're going to have to pause it and go in. But I think for me personally as well, it worked well on balanced. So I just stick with that. The width is 5 because we are trying to increase the width of the pitch to give us more attacking options. The depth is 10 because we want to be high up the pitch. We want to win the ball back quickly. And we need it is a press. We do need a press on. And again, it's about pinning our opponent in. But this time, we're not pinning them in because we're trying to hold a lead. We're trying to pin them in because this time we do need to score a goal. He says in the guide, he doesn't use 10 because he feels like 10's a bit glitched. And he actually said 10 was a bit glitched last year, which I have to admit I didn't know about. But if 10 is glitched, then I would recommend just using 9 for safety. I used 9. It worked really well for me. And yeah, I was happy with it. So I'd stick with 9. 9's good. If you want to go for 10, if you think it's working, by all means, use what you're happy with. So if you thought the defense was crazy, the offense is even crazier. We have the same style as before. We go with long ball. We're trying to get those players to run in behind and down the wing. Makes sense. If it works for you, then why change it? We just need to be sending more players forwards, and that's definitely what we do. We make the pitch extremely wide in attack, adding all the way up to 10. So we are stretching the pitch to the absolute maximum. The other way you could do it, in addition to this, D-pad tactics, go hug the sidelines and it will push your left mid and right mid right out to the very, very edge. Very good way of spreading the pitch, make it even wider. Players into the box, 10. We want everybody in the box because we need a goal. We've got to score. We have to score and we have to score now. So everybody is going to be running into the box. That's the main tactic. Any players that make a good run, they're going to pass into them and we're scoring. We're overloading our opponent. We're making it so that they cannot defend it, making it as impossible as possible to contain us. And then the corners and the free kicks. This is quite a contrast from what we were going with before. We've been very conservative. Now we are sending everybody into the box and we are having every single opportunity we can possibly have. It does mean that there is a very, very high chance of being caught on the counter. But obviously, by having more players in the box, we've got more chance of scoring a goal. And that's what we need to do. Into the player instructions, goalkeeper, exactly the same. Exactly the same, use the same tactics, they work. Centre backs, also, do not touch them again. We need to score a goal, but let's not be silly. We don't need to play them as striker or have them as join the attack. Just, we need a back line still, okay? Like, if we're one goal down and we concede another one, then we're in even bigger trouble. We've got to score 2. You don't need to be good at maths to understand how that works. So we need to have some defense, and these three are that defense. Both the left CDM and the right CDM have the same instructions. Cut passing lanes because that's their job, that's what we need them to do. They're both on cover center now, I guess because we're trying to make sure that we got players in the middle of the pitch. That's where we want them. We don't want them drifting out wide at this point. Got them on get forward. We want them arriving at some point into the box, or at least the edge of the box. We need them there as a passing option and a potential scoring option as well. And then interceptions are on aggressive. We need the ball back if we lose it. And so the easiest way to do that is set them on aggressive and have them win it back as quickly as possible. And then the winger instructions is where it gets even crazier. We have them on stay forward. Obviously, we need them forward. We're not so worried about defense now. Hopefully our centre backs can win the ball, and then that gives us an extra option to pass it out to. They're on stay wide because we need the width. They're on getting behind because we need them to be making the runs to try and break the back line when they step up. And we have them on get into the box because at this point, we just need somebody to be making a run into the box. Hopefully they are half decent players when it comes to shooting. You see, I've got Atal, I used Davies. They were good enough for shooting. They scored enough goals for me. So you'll be using players that will have enough capabilities that they can probably snatch you a last minute winner if you give them the right opportunity. Interestingly enough, cam does not change again. Exact same, stay forward, conservative interceptions. They're going to be doing the same job all game. And yeah, just leave them how they are. They are more than happy to just keep doing what they're doing. And then the strikers, the left striker and the right striker are on exactly the same tactics as they were on for the standard play. Drift wide, conservative interception, stay forward for the left striker, and then the same, but you add get in behind for the right striker. And yeah, they're still doing the exact same thing that they were doing before, creating the same sort of opportunities, but now they've got backup, and that's what makes this so incredibly attacking. The advantage, obviously, to having three versions of a 3-5-2 that work for different stages of the game is that you don't have to change shape, you don't have to change personnel, and that works really nicely. But the 3-5-2 won't work all the time. So you want to make sure that you have another formation that you're going to be able to switch to if you need to. I use the 4-3-3-2. I've done a video on that if you want to go and have a look at that, and you can get the custom tactics and the play instructions, all of that stuff. I only had to switch to it the once though, but it's always good to be prepared for that extra scenario should you need to. Gonna end this video showing off the teams that WAHOO22 used himself in week 1, week 2 and week 3 that all got him to an Elite 2 finish. And I'm also going to show you his pre-Totti team so you have an idea of what he's building towards, and then you can look for the same sort of players to go into your teams. If you want any help building a team for the 3-5-2, feel free to message me down in the comment section. I'll reply. I'll happily help you build a team so you can use these tactics. They're a lot of fun. I really enjoyed using them. The one thing I will say is that in terms of substitution philosophy, definitely what you want to do in the 60th, 65th minute is you want to be subbing off that left mid and that right mid. They're the workhorse of your team. They are the most important players. Make sure that you have fresh legs for those positions, and then that leaves you with one other substitution that you can change. I found that occasionally I'd have to bring on a new cam because Benzema would be tired. Sometimes I'd bring on a new striker because either Sane or Dembele would be tired, or I'd bring on a CDM if I had a yellow card and the game was close. I want to make sure that we don't go down to 10 men, or that I've got someone that can still chase down the ball. So that's what you want to be looking for in terms of substitutions. But I think that pretty much covers everything for the formation review. A lot of fun. Definitely try them out yourselves. Thank you very much for watching. My name's been Bearridge, and I will catch you all next time.